Do up, da ba da da do up, da ba da do up, da ba da do up, yeah. They fly around the world on a very fast airplane to see more of the wonders that they've never seen before. They took a slow boat ride down the river called Lee. Tell me, where in the world are Scott and Galen Lewis?
It was on May 8th, 2015 that I arrived in Taipei, Taiwan with my lovely wife, Nancy Jo, and my parents in tow. Heh, that rhymes. It had been about 15 hours since we left Los Angeles, with a brief stopover in Hong Kong. It had been almost 6 years since I was here as a missionary. Taiwan, formerly called Formosa, meaning beautiful island in Portuguese, is governed by the Republic of China. Our lodging of choice was the San Want Hotel in the heart of the city. Our first stop the next morning amid the onslaught of scooters was the Taiwan Taipei Temple. After a breakfast of danbing, possibly my most favorite food from my mission. We then visited the National Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. Nancy told us a little history about this important site.
So the first guy, his name is Sun Yat-sen. Sun Yat-sen is the father of democracy. He's the one that literally stopped Qing dynasty in China and started democracy in China. Chiang Kai Jiang Jieshi, who is the successor of Sun, and he was at one time controlling all China, but then Mao started his own party, the Communist Party. So there's this huge fight between Jiang and Mao, and then Mao eventually went and Jiang was pushed to Taiwan. Jiang's plan was to go back to Taiwan and settle for a couple years and then re-enter China to fight Mao, but it never happened. So he is the founding father of Taiwan, Jiang.
That night, we visited the Shirley Night Market, which is the largest and most famous street market in the country. Nancy was in food heaven. She enjoyed her pork, rice, and octopus stir-fry, and we all shared a bowl of mango shaved ice. My mom had to take pictures of all the native foods she saw. We went to church in Nehu on Sunday, one of the wards I served in when I was here on a mission. It was Mother's Day, and my mom loved hearing the primary kids sing Mother Dear, I Love You So in Mandarin. She sneaked up on them while they were practicing and made this video. A train to Hotang, the cat village, was on our itinerary that afternoon, where Nancy was in heaven yet again.
Well,
This is terrible. This is a disaster. This is a tragedy. I gotta get out of here.
Afterwards, we visited Jiufeng, a wonderful little village up in the mountains. It is the real-world architectural inspiration for Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away, one of my favorite animated films and actually the first movie Nancy and I ever watched together. We met an interesting fellow here who specialized in making masks. We offered to pose for him, but our faces scared him too much. So we left and had a spot of tea in a quaint little tea house Nancy had read about online. Meanwhile, Mother checked out the bathroom. On Monday, we took the metro to the train station and then took a train to Hualien. While there, we visited Tailuga National Park. I never had a chance to visit this part of Taiwan on my mission, though I'd always wanted to. It was nice to escape the bustle of the city and walk in awe amidst the towering mountains. We visited Taipei 101 on Tuesday, May 12th. This was once the tallest building in the world and offers a must-see view for Taiwan's capital. That night we flew to Xiamen, where Nancy's father and cousin picked us up and took us to our hotel.
my parents and I have been planning our activities for months in advance of Jared and his parents' arrival. Our first stop on the morning following their arrival was Yuanbo Park. My father acted as our guide and was the perfect host. This park is full of replicas that represent different cities and provinces in China. My dad, Scott, and Jerry climbed midway to the top of the Xinling Tower replica. From their vantage point, they had a grand view of the park and Xiamen. Here my father recites a famous poem about historical Yueyang Tower.
春和精明，波澜不惊；上下天光，一地万秋。沙鸥响鸡，金鳞游泳；暗自冰蓝，郁郁葱葱。
而
而画长烟一空，皓月千里。浮光跃金，晶莹澄碧；玉阁互大，瓷落可及。登四楼也，则有星光神异，重入界望。八九临风，喜习气，样样得。
That evening, my family provided dinner for their guests and their home. Uncle John taught Scott and Galen how to make dumplings.
Xiao 要这面，它是这面是有弧面，有这个面，它到时候粘不上。这面。
So you gotta-
Don't flip it, just use that side.
This side?
the side with flour on it. Oh, hey, there's a spoon. She found the spoon.
Hey, why don't you take a picture from there of me making it?
Mine's got too much in it.
哎，这样的，对，然后在这面，对。
That means good.
Go.
Anybody else want to try?
Scott.
Look at your grandma. What's she doing?
爆盐了。
She knew you that close to read the subtitles.
对。
Jared, take a couple pictures of my camera. And Dad. God, did you take pictures of me?
Yeah.
对。 对，别让我。
A visit to Xiamen would not be complete without a sub and a karaoke bar. We had lots of laughs and good time with Jared and his parents as we put aside our inhibitions and sang our hearts out. Just try not to laugh as you listen.
Got me
time my dad came and did a stellar job with one of the Chinese songs he likes. We took a ferry over to Gulang Island, a beautiful spot once occupied by Japan. Here are several pictures taken on the island. The statue is of Zheng Chenggong, the military leader who took Taiwan back from Dutch and gave it back to China. On the island, we indulged in a foot massage by these little fishes. In Xiamen, there's a hot spring resort called Riyegu, where there are several hot tubs filled with various scented springs. We tried out the coffee, grapefruit, wine, lemon, and rose-petaled pools. Our last dinner together in Xiamen was a multi-course meal and Jiadi restaurant. In attendance, we have Galen, Scott, Nicole, Baorong, Zhang Li, Zhou Gang, my aunt, my uncle, my dad, my mom, my grandma, me, Jared. Galen seemed especially fascinated by the giant prawn served and how we had to eat it. My father hired a driver and guide for us as we went on the road trip through winding narrow mountain roads to see the Tianlu-Keng Tulo cluster. The cluster is located a 4-hour drive away from Xiamen. We passed many beautiful vistas on our way, including Terrace tea fields. The famous Chinese ancient architecture expert Luo Zhewen wrote a poem about this site. Tianlu-Keng Tulo cluster stands above the mist. It looks like a flower blossoming against cloud, or a flying saucer from the outer space. It is really a rare piece in the world, a wonderful work in world architecture. The Tianlu-Keng Tulo cluster is several hundred years old and has been inhabited by the Huang clan for generations. It is a World Heritage Site.
Here, the men in the village make cow skin candy. This device is used to make flour from rice.
The stone floor seems to sink as you step on it because it is built on the marshland. For hundreds of years, Clean water has been provided by this well.
We also stopped at the village of Yunshui Yao, where these photos were taken.
They took a slow boat ride down the river called Lee. Tell me where in the world are Scott and Galen Lewis?
We flew to Guilin with my parents. Guilin is famous for its scenery of rocky outcrops and is one of China's most popular tourist destinations. By night, we stayed in the Lijiang Waterfall Hotel. This is a world-famous hotel, and every night at the exact same time, waterfalls run down the exterior of the hotel while traditional Chinese music is played. We also took a boat ride around the lake. The buildings are lit with lights at night for an even more dramatic effect. The next morning, we headed out for our Li River trip from Guilin to Yangshuo. Even the money here has a likeness of the Li River and the famous mountains. The boat ride along the Li River lasts for 4 hours. The Li River winds its way through landscapes decorated with bamboo, startling hills, steep cliffs, fantastic caves, and farming villages. In the Chinese poem, it is written, 这条河是一个绿色的丝带，小山是玉发夹. The river is a green silk ribbon, and the hills are jade hairpins. This was one of Scott and Galen's favorite parts of their entire trip. The beautiful mountains that rise up out of the water on each side of the river has been a favorite scene for painters for generations. Scott kept saying, "This is incredible!" In Yangshuo, we stayed at the New West Street Hotel. Here are some photos of the area. We toured the Fuyang Rongdong Cave. The fluorescent lights accentuated the natural formations. We also explored Shiwan Taoyuan village. We took a boat trip around the park. People displayed and sold a lot of traditional handicraft work. Jerry tried his muscles on this machine that crushes beans to make tofu. There were beautiful views of the mountain from this location. This young girl threw out silk balls from a high window, and whoever caught them would receive good luck. They invited visitors to participate in a Yaozu dance. Galen and my mother jumped right in. At the end of our 3-day excursion to Guilin and Yangshuo, we were simply exhausted. My parents flew back to Xiamen, and we flew to Beijing for our next adventure.
They went from Utah to Hong Kong, Taiwan to Xiamen to Laos to Guilin to Beijing and back. They fly around the world on a very fast airplane to see more of the wonders that they've never seen before.
We walked several blocks from the prime Beijing hotel on our way to the Forbidden City. While en route, we stopped in a shop and Scott and Jared bought some Chinese shirts. Tiananmen Square and Great Hall of the People are directly across the street from the Forbidden City. The Forbidden City was the Chinese emperor palace from the Ming Dynasty to the end of the Qing Dynasty from 1420 to 1912. It served as the home of emperors and their households for almost 500 years. As we passed through one gate, we entered a square that looked just like the last one we walked through. The Chinese school children must have saw Jerry was a celebrity because they clamored to get their photo taken with him. A visit to Beijing just isn't complete without the famous dish of Peking duck, a dish that has been prepared since the imperial era. We enjoyed ours at the Quanju restaurant. The meat is traditional eaten with scallion, cucumbers, and sweeping sauce with pancake rolled around the fillings.
Nancy had to work one day, so I went with my parents to the Mutinya section of the Great Wall. A skylift provided access to the top. Parts of the Great Wall were built as early as the 7th century to protect Chinese states and empires against raids and invasions. Today, the wall stretches over 13,000 miles. It was built of stones, brick, tampered earth, wood, and other materials and has been rebuilt, maintained, and enhanced since the Ming Dynasty.
There was a group of students that made it to the top, and they seemed pretty excited to be there.
There was a slide that we rode down when we were done. When my car stopped, 2 men dressed in Mongolian costumes grabbed me and gave me a sword. They posed while Scott took this photo. Afterwards, Scott took out his money to give them a tip. He gave them $20, but they wanted more. They said in English, $20 for each, for a total of $40. They even tried to take the money he had pulled out of his wallet right out of his hand. There was no haggling with 2 guys with swords. We also visited the Summer Palace. In this photo, I am standing just outside the Temple of Heaven on what is regarded as the center of the universe.
We went on a bicycle rickshaw ride through an area known as the Hutongs. We rode through residential neighborhood alleys in the heart of old Beijing.
Where in the world are Scott and Galen Lewis? Tell me, where in the world are Scott and Galen Lewis?
We stayed at the Ozo Wesley downtown. Jared and Nancy flew home while we stayed to see some of the sights. Our first stop was the Hong Kong Temple.
It was a great experience to serve in the temple because I was able to do work for some of the sisters who lived in the 16 and 1700s, and one that was born in 1464.
That afternoon, we had a walking tour of the city. Over 7 million people live on this landmass of 426 square miles. We were amazed by the high-rises and the crowded streets. We saw several building projects with bamboo scaffolding surrounding them. We were shocked to see that they used bamboo and what looked like duct tape to hold them together. Our guide said it is the product of choice because it is so light and limber. And Walkway System is the longest outdoor covered escalator in the world. It covers 2,600 feet in distance and elevates 443 feet from the bottom to the top. It moves the residents to home, to work, and back each day.
We tried the Kaya toast that was quite good. It is like 2 pieces of French toast with a coconut custard jam in the middle.
Our guide took us to see beautiful vegetable, fruit, and meat markets. One of the more interesting delicacies on the island is edible bird nests. They are made from bird saliva and are sold for up to $4,500 US.
The next morning we walked to church, which was about 12 minutes away, and after church we walked amid the high-rises to see more of the city.
That night, we took a ferry over to the Kowloon side of the island, where we enjoyed a light show. Seeing the buildings that surrounded the harbor light up was amazing.
On our last day, we filled it to the brim with a 9-hour tour. Our guide took us to Ong Ping 360 for a gondola ride up to Lantau Peak.
This gondola is Asia's longest bicable ropeway.
Here we could view Big Buddha, a large bronze statue that was only recently completed in 1993. It is 112 feet tall.
It just happened to be Buddha's birthday celebration the day we visited. There were several different sizes of incense to burn, from the small little sticks to some the size of pillars. Smoke did indeed get in our eyes.
We also enjoyed a tour of the Tai-O fishing village where residents live in homes on stilts.
Our guide showed us many examples of how they sell fish and fish parts. All fish parts are edible.
We got a glimpse of Hong Kong as it was in decades past. A perfect ending for an adventure of a lifetime.
Do-up, da-ba-da-da-do-up, da-ba-da-ba-da-do-up, da-ba-da-da-do-up, yeah. They fly around the world on a very fast airplane to see more of the wonders that they've never seen before. They took a slow boat ride down the river called Lee. Tell me where in the world are Scott and Galen Lewis? They took a skylift up to the Great Wall of China and ate Peking duck in the city of Beijing. They soaked in the rose-petaled water.